I just got done watching the Wolverine trailer, notably one of the first trailers we've seen from PlayStation that was captured on the PS5 Pro at 4K 30 FPS, which I know because I was going through the video frame by frame. But besides that, I've been poring over every little detail revealed. Insomniac actually gave us a lot more information than some people might have caught at first glance, so let's go over all of those juicy little tidbits that were found.
I'm Wolverine.
First, let's talk about the characters. They tease that there were other characters revealed, but we do see Omega Red, Mystique, a Sentinel, and Reavers teased throughout the trailer. But we also got a brief hint of Trask Industries showing up on the back of a truck. Trask, likely referring to Bolivar Trask, has always been portrayed as the head of the Sentinel program in X-Men and Wolverine comics. He first appeared in X-Men 14, which was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and his role was typically to be a weapon designer who hated mutants and wanted to protect humanity. Now, obviously, the Sentinels are usually the bad guys in Wolverine stories, and Logan is frequently running into them, slicing and dicing their heads off. In the movies, you'll remember that a young Colonel William Stryker was shown on the scene finding Logan being pulled out of the Potomac after Magneto sent him there. So I do have hope that Stryker makes an appearance. Now, there was also Mystique, aka Raven Darkholme. She is known for her ability to shapeshift. She can mimic anyone right down to their fingerprints. She and Logan have a complicated history. Sometimes their paths cross during covert operations. Sometimes she's tried to manipulate him, but she's always been a thorn in his side. Seeing her confirmed here means we'll probably get that cat and mouse dynamic that makes her so dangerous. Now, the other major player, basically everybody fought in the trailer except for that one scene with Trask Industries, were the Reavers. The Reavers also show up, and that's big. They first appeared in Uncanny X-Men 229, led by Donald Pierce. They're cybernetic mutant hunters. They really hate Wolverine, so much so that in Uncanny X-Men 251, they were the reason that he was crucified on that giant X. Expect faces like Lady Deathstrike to make an appearance, who has her own vendetta against Logan thanks to her father's connection to the adamantium bonding process. You also have some silly characters like Bonebreaker, who literally has half of his body as a tank, but I think we're going to get more realistic type characters in this adaptation. And finally, the big one, Omega Red. His real name is Arkady Rossovich. He first appeared in X-Men number 4 in 1992. I actually bought this issue when it came out. X-Men number 5 has the better cover though. He's basically the Russian answer to Wolverine. He's a serial killer turned into a Cold War super soldier with life-draining spores and carbonadium tentacles, which was an unstable attempt at recreating adamantium, aka what Wolverine's claws are made out of. His mutant abilities prevent Wolverine from healing, so he is a very good foe to pair against Logan. Now, the Sentinel teased, it could just be some big bad Sentinel that we end up fighting, but for some reason it reminded me of Wolverine number 72, where Logan and Jubilee stumble upon a dying Sentinel. Now, instead of fighting it, Jubilee shows compassion and they kind of make friends with the robot and show its humanity before it shuts down. If Insomniac does decide to pull from that tone, I do imagine there will be some other Sentinels in the vicinity that end up getting sliced and diced just for fun, but it would be nice to see Wolverine just having a bit of a moment with at least one of them.
This one's for you, Mark.
Now let's talk about the locations because there's a lot of important stuff in this trailer and in the follow-up where they confirm some of the locations.
You'll see the Canadian wilderness, you'll see Japan.
There's a shot where Logan is sliding down that rooftop and you can see the breadth of Madripoor and Lowtown.
Now, they talk about the Canadian wilderness being teased, and there is a specific location they show. It's Squamish. Now, this is in British Columbia, and specifically, Wolverine is traveling north on Highway 99. That ties perfectly into Logan's Canadian roots. He was obviously born James Howlett in Alberta, and his escape from the Weapon X program is almost always depicted in a remote forest somewhere with snowy mountains, and that backdrop really screams that iconic location and one of Wolverine's core themes. Now, I actually looked at the route. I think they're taking some liberties with it. There's no sign that looks like that on this highway as far as I can tell, but I think they're teasing somewhere near the Shannon Falls viewpoint. You can actually see here that Squamish is north of Vancouver, so maybe we get to take a little bit of a side trip to Vancouver, Canada, which would be kind of cool. And obviously it fits the part given the beautiful mountain range that is north of the city. Another of the core locations is Japan, which points straight to one of Logan's most iconic arcs, the samurai storyline from the Chris Claremont and Frank Miller run in the 80s. Logan training in Bushido, falling for Mariko Yashida, fighting the Hand. It's one of the best Wolverine stories ever told, and the game will be visiting that location. Madripoor was also mentioned. Insomniac even confirmed it with concept art. Madripoor is a lawless island nation split into Hightown with its glittering towers and Lowtown with its seedy underbelly of gangs, mercs, and smugglers. Wolverine operates here under his Patch persona, rocking an eye patch, working the underworld. The trailer even shows the Princess Bar, which Logan co-owns in the comics. Inside, I did notice a license plate that said 1V7502, which is almost certainly a nod to Wolverine Volume 2, number 75, the issue where Wolverine discovers his bone claws after, Magneto rips all the adamantium out of his body. That's a huge turning point in his history, and Insomniac is clearly giving it a wink. We also got a look at the team making this game. Liam, the guy playing Wolverine, is known from Spartacus. He was JD Phoenix in Gears of War. He is voicing Logan. Eric Monticelli from Marvel Games is on board as executive producer. Marcus Smith, a veteran at Insomniac who also worked on Sunset Overdrive and Spider-Man, is the creative director. And Jess Reiner Reed is project director, helping to keep everything on track. There's some other names that they tease just based on their desk, but I don't know what their specific roles were. But if that wasn't enough, Reddit is already dissecting the trailer. On r/games, people notice that Logan looks shorter than most of his opponents, a deliberate choice because in the comics he is a little bit shorter rather than taller in the movies. Others point out that the tone feels closer to God of War, which I very much like, as opposed to Spider-Man, which makes sense. There's also speculation that some of what we saw lines up with the material from the big Insomniac leak a while back, which means these sequences may already exist in playable form, and most importantly, Insomniac has said we'll be seeing more of this spring.
We can't wait to show you more in spring of 2026.
So if this was just the teaser, the next reveal could be massive. So we got Omega Red, Mystique, the Reaver, Sentinels, Trask, Japan, Madripoor, the Princess Bar, a Wolverine 75 tease, and a dev team that knows how to do some of the best comic book video games in existence. Insomniac packed this trailer with nods that hardcore X-Men fans like myself will catch, and it's setting the stage for a Wolverine game that is not just about claws and gore, but about Logan's entire history. I cannot freaking wait. I used to run a Wolverine fan page on GeoCities when I was a kid. This is so freaking cool, and I cannot wait to see more. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know my content goes live. I do greatly appreciate it. And a big thank you to all the members who support Chris Ferretti, Philaroni, and Aries EMS, top supporters to get a shout out every episode. But all of you deserve a shout out. Thank you so much for your support. You can support at patreon.com/SaveStatePlus or becoming a member right here. I'm going to get out of here, but check out my other video about something else related to PlayStation, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.